Hi, this video is about public forum debate, the what's and the how's. So let's start by looking at the name, public forum. It's as simple as it sounds. It's a type of debate for the public. Here, your forum or your audience, or in other words, your judge, is supposed to be a member of the public who doesn't necessarily know about the topic. So let's look at the what. In public forum debate, you're debating a resolution, also known as the topic. These resolutions are usually in form of statements that offer some sort of recommendation. For example, the COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatorized. You have two teams, the pro team and the con team. The pro team will be for the resolution and the con team will be against. Each team has two members, the first speaker and the second speaker, and each member gets to have two speeches. In the odd cases, sometimes you will have a maverick debater where you have a pair who sign up for a tournament, but an accident, an emergency, or just the other member of that pair ends up getting sick or just cannot be there, then you will have the other member that is still at the tournament debate by themselves. This is called a maverick debater, but these are very, very uncommon. And so if you are interested in public forum debate, you should look into finding yourself a partner and most likely work with them throughout your middle school or high school or wherever you're starting the public forum debate. So the pro team's job in this example resolution that the COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatorized is to show that yes, the world will be a better place with the vaccine. Whereas the con team's job is to say, no, it shouldn't be mandatorized and they have to prove status quo. Status quo just simply means they have to prove that what is happening right now is enough. So in simple words, they have to say what's happening without mandatorizing the vaccine. So the amounts of vaccines that are going out is amazing. So it does not need to be changed. And that is the job of the con team. Now, let's look at how to do public forum debate. As I mentioned earlier, there are two speakers per team and there are two teams. Each team gets 4 speeches: the opening speech, the rebuttal speech, the summary speech, and the final focus speech. So you have two sides, pro and con. Now, how do you know who goes first? Well, in beginner tournaments, it tends to be that the pro team goes first and the con team goes second. But as you get more advanced, you will have coin flips. The winning team gets to decide whether they want to go pro or con or first or second. So, for example, if my team wins the coin flip and we decide to go second, the other team gets to decide if they're going pro or con. If they choose to go con, they will be con first and we will be pro second. And if they choose to go pro, they will be pro first and we will be con second. Keep in mind that there is no rule that says that in public forum that pro team has to go first and con team has to go second. So sometimes it will be the other way around, and so just be prepared for that. So let's look at the individual components of the speech and of this whole debate. So as I mentioned, the 4 speeches. So first you'll have the first team have their first speaker speak the opening speech.
Hi, this is just a notice to explain that this is the table that I will be using to explain the different portions of public forum debate, but it does assume that the pro team is going first, so just keep that in mind in case in your tournament the con team ends up going first because of a coin flip. Just flip the pro and the con side. Thank you.
So let's say the first team is the pro team. So the pro speaker one is going to make a 4-minute opening speech where they introduce all their contentions, they will define terms, and they will give their stance on the resolution, which is going to be 4, right? And then you have the second speaker, which is going to be the con first speaker, who is also going to make a 4-minute speech, and they're also going to give their opinion, like their contentions and their stance, which is going to be against their resolution. Keep in mind, the con team is never allowed to define. It is always going to be the pro team that gets to define what the definitions are. Moving on, after these 2 speeches, you have what's known as the crossfire. And in the crossfire, you have both the first speaker from the pro team and the con team ask questions back and forth. Usually the first speaker, who's the first person to speak, so in this case the pro speaker one gets to ask the first question, and then the con speaker one gets to ask the next question. The crossfire lasts for 3 minutes, and only the speakers, the first speakers of both teams, are allowed to ask questions. Then it's time for the second speakers. So in the rebuttal speech, it's exactly what it sounds like. You refute, you provide rebuttals. So you'll have the second speaker from the pro team give their 4-minute speech, and they're going to refute all arguments made by the con team, and they're going to support their own arguments. And then you'll have the con speaker 2 do the exact same thing. After this, you'll have a crossfire again where con speaker 2 and pro speaker 2 ask questions back and forth. Once again, pro and con speakers 1 are not allowed to ask any questions during this crossfire. Then you have the summary speech where both speakers, the pro speaker 1 and con speaker 1, is going to summarize their case. So quite literally what it sounds like. They're going to summarize all their arguments. They're going to say, we are outweighing because we have better arguments, because let's say it impacts more people, it benefits more people, or it harms more people. Whatever they're weighing, they're going to mention it here. After this, you have what's known as the grand crossfire. So once again, it's the crossfire, but it's grand because all speakers can say. So pro speaker 1 and 2 and con speakers 1 and 2 can all ask questions. This is also 3 minutes long, and after this you have the last speeches in the entire debate, which are known as the final focus speeches. So in the final focus speech, what you want to show is basically tell the judge why should the judge vote for your team. You want to weigh like you do in the summary speech. You want to say, this is how this will benefit the world. In some cases, you might even be able to say, here's what the world would look without this rule, and here's what the world would look with this rule, and this is why this is better. So let's say the pro team is going to say, if we're going with the COVID resolution again with the vaccines, they're going to say, a world with the vaccines, you'll have herd immunity, it will be safe, international travels will be completely open, whereas without, you will have new variants come back over and over and over again, and you'll have so many people die, and which is why the judge should vote for pro. Whereas the con team will say, well, look, on the pro side, maybe there will be herd immunity, which we don't know, but it will take away people's freedom. If we don't give people freedom, who are we? Maybe they'll mention something they've said in the beginning, and they're going to go back and say, right now we are vaccinating all the people we possibly can. Just mandatorizing it is going to put it under pressure, and so we just can't do it. It's taking away freedom, and vaccine companies just can't handle it. And that's why, judge, you should vote for the con team. And of course, they're going to have more information, they're going to have evidence backed up, and they're going to say, here, judge, we've shown you our side is better. Vote for us. And that's the end of the speaking of the debate. Keep in mind, in the final focus, you are not allowed to bring up any new evidence. So everything you say can be repeated evidence from before, or it just has to be opinions without the evidence. So you have to say, we are proving this better. We have a better solution, in a sort. Another thing to keep in mind is this is not policy debate. It is not your job to provide a plan on how governments will implement this. It is your job to say, this will work and this will not work. If, let's say, the pro team says, oh, this will implement and this will save money because people are not going to the hospitals. Of course, I'm not sure if this is true, but this is just going to be an example. They're saying it's going to save money because people don't have to keep going to the hospital because they're not getting sick with COVID. They can stay home, they can quarantine, and they'll be fine. And the con team says, but how will this be implemented on an international scale? The pro team doesn't have to answer that because this is not a policy debate. Like I said, of course, if they can answer it, it's good. But they could just say, this is not policy debate. We don't have to we don't have to provide answers for how governments will implement this. Our job is to say, implementing this is better for the world. Some other things to keep in mind are, basically, you want to look at what is the scale? You want to talk about, okay, if it's mentioning a specific country, how is it going to affect the specific population of that country? If it doesn't mention a country, are you going to look at the world? How will that be implemented in the world? Let's say with the vaccine, how is it going to be implemented in the world? And you want to really look at all different aspects of it. After this, the judge will look at both sides and they will give you your decision, and it's as simple as that. The last thing to learn about public forum debate is prep time. Prep time is, once again, exactly what it sounds like. It's time to prep. Originally, there used to be 2 minutes of prep time per team when the tournaments could happen on campus and in person. However, NSDA rules changed it to 3 minutes. But some tournaments do offer 4 minutes of prep time, so it is up to the tournament. So please check with the tournament providers and your coaches to see how many minutes of prep time each team gets. Keep in mind, this is per team, not per person. So if your partner does end up using all 4 minutes of prep time that you are provided, then you will not have any. Prep time can be used anytime in between speeches, but not during a speech. For example, let's say you're on the con team and the pro team spoke first. After the first speaker says, after the first speaker from the pro team says their speech, you are allowed to ask for prep time. Prep time can be used in any of the empty boxes shown in this graph. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you understand what public forum debate is and how to do it, and just give it a big like if it really did. And if you guys need more help doing the specific speeches, I'll be sure to upload videos on all of them just so that I can help you.